Okay, get this. In just one single teaspoon of soil, there are more living things than there are people on the entire planet. I'm not kidding. And that's just a tiny peek into the incredible variety of life that's all around us.
And I mean, this variety is everywhere, at every single scale you can imagine. We're talking from the tiniest insects you might not even notice, all the way up to the massive whales cruising through the deep ocean.
And every single one of them, it's like a thread woven into this huge living tapestry. So today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to unravel what this tapestry of life really is and why, honestly, protecting it is absolutely critical for our own survival.
Right, so the official name for all this amazing variety is biodiversity. But, what does that word really mean? Let's get past the textbook definition.
Well, at its heart, it's pretty simple. Bio means life, and diversity means variety. So it's literally the variety of life. It's the grand total of all living things in one spot. And that means everything, not just the big, cool animals we see on nature shows. We're talking plants, fungi, even bacteria.
Okay, to really get a handle on biodiversity, you kind of have to look at it in 3 different layers. First up, you've got species diversity. That's the easy one, just how many different kinds of species are in one area. Then there's ecosystem diversity. Think bigger, the variety of places like forests, oceans, grasslands, and finally, and this one's super important, you have genetic diversity. These are the tiny differences inside a single species, which is what allows them to adapt and survive. All 3 of these are absolutely crucial.
So, okay, we've got all this variety. Big deal, right? Well, yeah, it's a huge deal. It turns out that all this diversity is what makes nature so tough, what gives it the power to bounce back from, well, pretty much anything.
I love this way of thinking about it. Picture biodiversity like a sports team. The more players you have, the stronger the team, right? I mean, if you only have 1 or 2 star players and one of them gets hurt, your team is in trouble. But a team with a deep bench, with all sorts of different skills, they're way more resilient. And ecosystems, they work the exact same way.
And you can really see what's at stake when you put them side by side. An ecosystem with tons of biodiversity, that's a team with lots of players. The food webs are stable, it can recover fast if a disaster hits. But a system with low biodiversity, it's fragile. You lose one key species and the whole thing can just fall apart. It really struggles to handle any kind of change.
And look, this isn't just some abstract idea that only matters for faraway rainforests or deep oceans. The strength of these natural systems, it's directly connected to our own lives, our own well-being.
So you might be thinking, okay, but what does biodiversity actually do for me? And that's a fair question. It can feel pretty distant, but the truth is, it's providing us with things that we literally cannot live without.
Just think about the stuff we completely take for granted. The food we eat, that depends on pollinators like bees and having lots of different crops. The clean air we breathe and water we drink. Yeah, forests and wetlands are working like giant, natural filters to make that happen. And get this, more than half of our modern medicines actually come from plants and other natural sources. Even the healthy soil we need for farming only exists because of a whole world of tiny microorganisms. So biodiversity isn't just some nice extra. It's the engine that runs our planet's life support system.
Okay, so if this diverse web of life is so strong and provides us with so much, what happens when we start pulling at the threads, when it starts to break? Well, the consequences can be pretty catastrophic.
It's like a chain reaction, a domino effect. It can start with just one important species disappearing. Once that happens, the whole food web gets thrown out of whack. Suddenly, resources become scarce and the entire ecosystem just gets more and more unstable.
And that instability leads to some really serious problems. It can set off a wave of extinctions. It opens the door for invasive species to come in and take over. And for us humans, it's a direct threat to our food and water. Plus, every time a species disappears, we might be losing the cure to a future disease forever.
Now, I know that sounds incredibly grim, but the story isn't over. This is not some unstoppable runaway train. We actually have the knowledge and the tools to protect life and even help it recover. And honestly, it's a responsibility we all share. So what's in our toolkit? Well, it's a few key things. It starts with protecting the natural places we still have left and cutting back on pollution. It also means we have to actively work to save endangered species and stop invasive ones from spreading. But really, the big one that ties it all together is just using our planet's resources more responsibly. It's so easy to hear all this and feel like the problem is just too big, right? Like, what can I do? But that's just not true.
Every single choice we make, from what we buy at the store to the leaders we vote for, can be part of the solution. Your small actions, when you multiply them by millions of other people doing the same thing, become this incredibly powerful force for good.
When it comes down to it, protecting biodiversity is really about protecting ourselves. It's about making sure we have a stable, healthy planet that can keep supporting us for generations to come. This web of life, it is our life support system. So the real question we all have to ask ourselves is, what part am I going to play in keeping it strong?